Hey, what is up guys, it's your boy. I'm here bringing you another video today. Today guys, we're going to be doing the Gannon event. You can see right here we're going to be doing the boss guide 2 for the Gannon event. And yeah, I'm going to be recommending units. I'm going to be recommending team setups to go, or units, team setups, and all that good stuff. I'm recommending equipment as well, but before we do any of that, let's start off with the stuff that matters the most. Upon entering the event, you will encounter Fina, Valhalla, and Regulus, or Regulus, whatever you call him, whatever his name is pronounced as. All of these units will be able to use their arts and skills, okay? So whenever you enter the event, it's going to be Gannon and Fina, Valhalla, and Regulus. All of these units will be able to use their arts and skills. If you don't know what their arts and skill is, I will tell you right now. Valhalla's skill is 1200% earth elemental damage, and it will increase the damage by 10% for 5 seconds. Like I said, this stuff isn't necessarily completely true because he doesn't really increase his damage by 1200% in this event. Just know that he will increase the damage by 10% for him. Also, his art is he will generate all allies HP by 200 for 20 seconds, and he will also, upon doing so too, he increases all allies skill cooldowns by 30%. So people are going to be having their skills up a lot faster, so keep that in mind whenever you're fighting Ganon. These are the stuff that Valhalla is going to do. Let's move on to the next one. Fina will be able to do a skill which is just going to do some light elemental magical damage to you, and it will restore her HP by a little bit. On top of that too, her art will cure any stats elements on the party, so this includes Regulus, Valhalla, her, and Ganon. She'll override all party stats elements except for faint for 10 seconds. So keep that in mind as well whenever you're using her. Like I said, these units on the team that Gannon has don't really do that much damage, but they can use their arts, and that's really what they're there for. And they're pretty tanky. The last one is Regulus. If you don't know what Regulus does, Regulus will do a dark elemental physical damage attack, and he will absorb 2% of the damage as HP, so he has like a lifesteal thing. On top of that too, he also will, for 5 seconds, with his art, for 5 seconds, all allies critical rate up is increased by 50%. So you're gonna need to watch out for that too, because whenever he does that, he will increase the crit rate for his teammates for that 5 seconds, so keep that in mind. That's with the units. That's all the units can do. Keep that in mind because you're gonna want to make sure you know what all these units do whenever you go into it, so you can try to see what happens with the arts. Like I said, these units don't do that much damage to you, but they are very, very strong and tanky, and they're just there to really help Gannon out and make sure to make the event as hard as possible for you. Moving on from that though, next thing Gannon has is really the thresholds. These are the only things that Gannon can do. Hold on, wait just a sec. It's the only thing Gannon can do. So Gannon has a 50% health threshold. Upon doing this, upon getting him to 50%, Gannon will buff his crit chance and attack speed. On top of that too, he will also buff the charge speed of his art, so keep that in mind whenever you get him to 50%. At 25%, Gannon will boost his art charge rate even more and increase the speed of his art as well. So what this is, whenever he is at 25%, not only is he charging it super fast, it takes about 2 seconds to charge in game, and on top of that too, he's going to be casting it even faster. On top of this as well, he will increase his attack speed, again buffing it even further. I actually made a freaking typo in that, and I put 2 P's. God dang it. There we go. Fix that. God dang it. On top of this too, he will mitigate 50% of the damage he takes, so he's going to gain damage mitigation. As well, he will increase his own attack by 50%. And this is not all. The last thing he does, he negates stuns and freezes. You cannot stun this man, and you cannot freeze him, so don't try to. With all that being said, that's all the stuff Gannon can do, and I covered all the stuff that the units can do as well. So keep that in mind. Like I said, whenever I was covering the units, all the unit skills and all the units arts can affect Gannon, with the buffs or the heal from Valhalla, so keep that in mind. Also, upon doing that as well, Valhalla will also heal the buffs apply to the entire team Gannon brings with him. He brings a whole squad with him. It applies to the entire squad that Gannon has with him, all those buffs, so keep that in mind as well. So what we gonna bring in, OP, what is the recommended characters to bring for this? Always Ragna is a really good choice in my opinion as a breaker, and I use Ragna too because mine is actually completely maxed, and I definitely recommend doing it if you have him because he's such a good unit. On top of this as well, apart from Ragnar though, like I said, he is a breaker, and he also is neutral to the boss of this event as well, so he doesn't take any extra damage, he doesn't deal any extra damage, but because of that, you know, he's pretty much fine in the tanking department as long as you have a healer. Next person I'm going to recommend, of course, is Lily as the attacking unit. Always a good choice for these events. I love Lily. Definitely recommend bringing her if you need an attacker unit. Ours Dia is also another one that I would recommend as an attacker unit. Really good and really solid. Now I want to add this little thing in here. Ours Dia's art during the break, it will buff up your teammates by 70%, but for some reason, since there's multiple units on this event, you can use Aros Dia's art out of nowhere and he will actually get the buff. He will buff the entire team by 70%. I don't know why that's happening. I'm pretty sure it's a bug currently, but I definitely recommend using him for that, because as long as there's another unit on the field apart from Gannon, he will always be able to buff your team up without even you having to be in a break. Lise is the next character I'm going to recommend. Lise is a really top tier healer and probably the best healer next to Valhalla currently in the game for global. She's a really good burst healer. I would definitely recommend bringing her if you need a healer on your team, but I think either Valhalla or Lise will be able to help you in this event either way. Like I said, two recommended characters, knocking them out right here. Valhalla and Lise is who I'm going to recommend for this. One other character I'm going to recommend is going to be another breaker. It's going to be Roy. I definitely recommend Roy in this event because he has a type advantage. On top of that, his art and his art buffs up his critical chance by a ton and buffs his damage by a lot, helping you out majorly in this fight, especially once he gets below 25% and he starts spamming them arts. Roy really starts to shine, so I definitely recommend doing that. Next character I'm going to recommend is Duran. Duran is a really good unit in this event. For one, he can heal for 20, well at max at 5 stars he will heal for 20 seconds by 200, no 10 seconds, my bad. He will heal for 10 seconds, or he will heal for 200 for 10 seconds. There we go. Definitely use him if you're kind of lacking a little bit, you need some damage mitigation. He will reflect all the damage that happens to you whenever it starts pumping. Whenever the Gannon starts pumping out a ton of damage, he will be able to reflect that with his art. So I definitely recommend bringing him if you need a little bit of damage mitigation. Also, during his skill, he will reduce damage by 30%. Definitely recommend bringing him if you need him. Other unit I'm going to recommend, but he's not really needed, is Eden. Eden is a very solid pick here because with the damage mitigation that he offers, he can be really, really good. If you need that type of character for you, you think that your team may be dying a lot or whatever, I definitely recommend bringing Eden because he's going to just absolutely do wonders for you. If you need him, definitely get him. Also, he'll randomly seal an enemy, which I actually am not for sure what sealing does. If it's like other games, if I'm going to go off other games, sealing is whenever you seal an opponent's art. I'm pretty sure that's what sealing is. It will seal or lock up his art. So if he can do that to Gannon, it can really help you. I'm not for sure that's actually what sealing is. If anybody wants to inform me what a seal is in this game, comment it down below, but I'm pretty sure he'll be able to seal his art with the random seal effect that he has. The last unit I'm going to recommend is Xenon. Xenon is extremely good in this event because he can buff up your art gauge, just making you just spam arts so much. Another character I'm going to recommend is the new Rodia. Rodia is extremely good as well. If you have her, you can use her because she's just going to do a ton of damage to enemies, and she's just overall a really good character. Next character I'm going to recommend is Czar. Kind of a little bit of a sleeper on here. I don't think a lot of people would expect Czar, but Czar is actually extremely good good in this event. He is an attacker unit and he is very selfish because he won't be able to buff up his team, but Zar can do a ton of damage to Ganon, and since he can just crit and all that by himself with his art, and he also will buff up his crit and get that stacking buff, he will do a ton of damage to Ganon. Definitely recommend bringing Zar. And those are going to be it for the recommended units that I personally think that you should bring. Definitely recommend bringing those guys that I just said. Now we're going to get into equipment, what equipment you should bring. Really, I'm going to break it down to you like this, okay? Bleak Prophet is of course going to be a really solid attack, physical attack weapon to bring. On top of that as well, Fenrir gauntlets or any type of mitigation defensive equipment that you have is going to be really strong in this event, because if you can negate even a little bit of Ganon's damage from his art, it's going to help you in the long run. And since he does do physical damage, this helps out a lot because it will reduce physical damage by 24%. For actually, if this is max, it actually reduces it by 25% for 8 seconds. As well, I recommend bringing Terra's Conjunction if you haven't. Now, if you're going to use Terra's Conjunction, let me add this bit right here, right now. Do not use this whenever it first starts in the fight, okay? Do not use Terra's Conjunction whenever the fight first starts, unless it is fully limit broken and you have a pretty short cooldown on it, which even if it's fully limit broken, I'm not for sure what the cooldown on it is. Hold on, wait, I may be able to guess it. Yeah, I wouldn't even recommend it. That cooldown is way too long actually. Don't recommend you doing that because you're going to want to save Terra's Conjunction for whenever he adds the damage mitigation and all that, because that's whenever you're going to be able to do enough damage to him to burst him down after he starts activating all that stuff. On top of that as well, Summon Skeletal Wing is of course one of the best magic type weapons in the game currently. Recommend bringing that. Apart from that though, that's really it. Any type of defensive equipment you have, Terra's Conjunction, Bleak Prophets, healing items of course will be really good in this event as well. Now, I'm not saying Terra's Conjunction is required, but I will say that it makes this run so much easier. Also, let me just say again, that's what I recommend for Ragna, and for anybody else, like I said, Summon Skeletal Wing is an amazing magic type attack weapon if you need that. Healing items, anything like that you can bring and you should be perfectly fine, to be honest. Bring healing items, bring good defensive items, and bring good physical attacks, good magic attack weapons, and bring Terra's Conjunction if possible. Or if you're in the Discord, I will link the Discord in the bottom. See if you can find somebody with a Terra's Conjunction Ragna, and see if they can join you, because it's going to make a very big difference. And possible too, if they haven't seen this video, tell them, if you can ask them, be like, hey, you know, can you wait and use Terra's Conjunction whenever the 25% or whenever Ganon's at the 25% mark? And if they say yes, you know, it's perfectly fine and you should be perfectly fine with this run. Now, I was going to go into team comps, but really the team comps can be anything you want it to be. Only thing I say that is required is you need a healer, you need a breaker like Royal Ragna, and at least an attacker unit like Sar, Lily, any of those units, or Dia. Definitely recommend an attacker unit, and I will say probably a support unit if possible, like Xenon or someone like that. Not saying Xenon is required, because I have done this multiple times without Xenon, but he definitely helps out to the team. So yeah. But apart from that though, guys, we're going to get into the event, and we're going to take all the knowledge that we just did and we're going to go do the event. Also, real quick, I recommend using the fried melmid bird. This is the event food. Recommend using this because this will help you out a lot, because it gives you 5% HP, attack and defense 3% up, and break power 2% up. Let me also add, we're going to be doing this in multiplayer. So because we're going to be doing this in multiplayer, it's going to be 4 of these. So we get a total of 20% HP. We get a total of, what is that, 4 of them, so that means that's going to be 12% attack and defense, and we're going to be having a total of 8% break power on top of that, boosted to all of our units, giving us a lot of tankiness on top of it. Definitely recommend you use it, and like I always say with these event guides, always do this in multiplayer until you have a really good team and really good equips, because it's just going to be so much easier for you guys. Definitely do this in multiplayer if you can. Okay, we got pretty much the ideal setup for this, okay? This is amazing that we have Roy, we have Ragnar, we have Valhalla, and we have Czar. Really good overall that we have. The good thing that Czar also bought Dark-Right Spear. Definitely recommend bringing Dark-Right Spear as well if you want to use that and you don't have Terra's Conjunction. Recommend bringing Dark-Right Spear just so we all can build our arts faster, and this is what I'm talking about right here. Czar is just going to be using his art 24/7, giving him a ton of crit chance and doing a ton of damage to them. Also, since I'm Ragnar, I'm going to be doing some decent damage to Roy the entire, not Roy, but Valhalla, excuse me, the entire time as well. Also, I'm going to pop Swift Ignition here to give my team the damage buff real quick. And Valhalla should be getting his art pretty soon. His art charges insanely fast, so he should be able to get his art pretty soon as well, giving us that juicy heal. So will Roy be able to. I don't know if Roy's going to be able to do it before he gets his, before Gannon gets his ult. Okay, yeah, he didn't. He wasn't able to get his art before Gannon did, but you can see right here, I'm negating a ton of damage right now. You can see we're getting nothing but zeros, so that's going to help us out so much. And I don't know if he actually got the buff. He didn't actually get the buff, but yeah, hopefully Roy will be able to pay attention a little bit more and try to get the damage off with or doing the art so he can do the maximum amount of damage with Roy. And you can see right here, Valhalla is giving us that constant sustain. That's why I always love Valhalla. I love how good Valhalla is. I love this unit. Of course, you know, later on he is going to get very heavily outclassed really soon, to be honest, unfortunately. Well, not really soon, but he will get outclassed when new units come. But I just love the unit. I think he's a really solid unit. You can see right here at 50%, he's going to do all this stuff. Like I said, attack frequency up is the attack speed buff, and he's just going to increase his attacks overall. We still have Valhalla up. I wish we could maybe kill Valhalla because I don't want them to be healing anymore. If it's possible, you can see he's healing them right now. And yeah, definitely want to kill Valhalla. I think we just gave Valhalla. We did. Nice, nice, nice. I think we'll be able to do this. Maybe. I think we may be able to break him. Okay, please use your art. Please use your art. Art. Hey, he uses art. Nice. I would use mine, but I'm not going to use it yet. I want Roy to do it because I don't want to get stuck, or I don't want Gannon to get stuck into the air where I can't hit him. So keep that in mind as well. If you have a Roar in your team, if you're going to use an art, make sure that it's not going to mess up, or you're not going to get the full effect of it because you have a Roar in your team and he knocks him up into the air. So keep a lookout for that. Gannon's going to be critting right here, you see, and this is the 25% mark. I'm going to wait till one of us, me or Roy, has our attack up again, or our art up again, because we don't need to do Terra's Conjunction for Czar because it's completely useless for Czar, like I said, because he has a built-in crit. You see, we didn't need Terra's Conjunction right there because we had Czar on our team. So if you have Czar, you can just use Czar instead of Terra's Conjunction. But if you're using Czar, I recommend bringing Dark-Right Spear instead because it can just boost all of your allies' art gauge fill rate a lot faster as well. So hold on, wait just a second. I thought I was going to sneeze, but I didn't. So you can see right here, this is why everybody wants to do special EX, because you're pretty much almost guaranteed a limit break Gannon. I know some people got a little bit unlucky, but it's an extremely high chance for you to get a limit break Gannon. Of course, you know, you are going to get unlucky from time to time. But yeah, guys, hopefully this boss guide is going to help y'all in this, and hopefully it makes the event a little bit easier understanding what this boss does and what units to bring and what equipment to bring. Definitely look over the boss guide if you're having any more trouble. Also, if you're having any trouble at all too, hit me up in the comments as well. I'll try to help you out as much as I can. On top of that, you can go to the Discord, ask for help in the Discord if you need some if you need to party up with some people. You don't want to do it with randoms, you want to do it with people that are actually, you know, decent at the game. Go to the Discord, and people in there would definitely help you. They love helping people. But yeah, guys, hopefully that enjoys the video. If y'all did, drop a like, comment down below, subscribe for more. And I'm out, guys.